Hello and welcome. You're listening to the CNET UK Podcast. This is episode 372 for Friday the 17th of January 2014. Ever thought your washing machine, your fridge and your smoke alarm just aren't pulling their weight in the 21st century? Well, Google just spent £2 billion putting that right. We're checking out the latest smart white goods that put the app in appliances, plus all the week's technology news that you need to know. I'm Richard Trenholm. Joining me this week in our London studio is Andrew Hall.
Hey!
Andrew Hall? Andrew Hall.
Hello!
Andrew Hall. And a warm welcome back for Luke Westaway. How you doing, Luke?
Good! It's great to be back in England.
Good. Enjoy your holiday in Las Vegas.
I had a great time on holiday in Las Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, it was, relaxing. I was pretty much just by the pool, working until my body hurt.
Right, okay.
Just getting people to bring you products that you'd cast a quick eye over and say,
Exactly.
don't like it.
If
Next.
I really liked the look of a product or a new gadget, I would raise my sunglasses and look at it untinted, at which point I would invariably say, take it away, it's upsetting me. And it would be removed forthwith.
Absolutely. And that's
Replaced with a cocktail.
that's how the technology industry knows what's going to be a big hit or not. We are as always filming the podcast, so check out the video on CNET or youtube.com/CNET to play a good old-fashioned game of jet lag or hangover.
Hey,
which is it?
It could be both.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit more about your CES experiences in a bit, but why don't we kick off with Crave?
You can now get 4K TVs for much cheaper than you used to be able to get
What?
4K TVs. That is so shocking, it's made Luke choke on his... That's only water.
We're doing spit takes now.
You could have
Is
at
that
least
where this
choked on your
podcast is?
whiskey or...
That's where we've come to in this podcast.
Yeah, fine
Spit
cognac.
take.
Spit that out into the fire, which would, of course, result in a massive fireball in the grate.
So, 4K TVs, they usually cost about £4,000, ironically.
Or even a lot more, but no, Kogan has a 55-inch 4K TV, which will cost just £550.
Wow.
Now, that's not strictly the case, because that would be if you could buy it in the UK, that's how much it would cost, but sadly for the moment you can't. Kogan is an Australian brand, and at the moment it's only going to be available in Australia, where it will cost in Australian dollars $999.
So Kogan's whole, it's an Australian company, its whole sort of MO is kind of basically making super cheap technology.
Yep.
So I wouldn't go as far as to say this might not be the best television, but it's nice and cheap.
Yeah,
it's cool to see cheaper 4K TV.
That's true. So it's UHD. It's 55-inch. I mean, is that worth it? 55, doesn't it have to be like the size of a house in order to benefit from 4K?
Not necessarily.
Just sit really close to it, and then you'll enjoy the benefit.
Yeah.
You've probably spent quite a bit of time looking at 4K TVs over the last week.
Yes, I did. Really.
So, can you really tell the difference? And is there a sweet spot and all that kind of thing?
You can tell the difference, I think. I think you can tell the difference. I noticed that 4K TVs look like the picture when you're looking at beautifully shot 4K stuff. It's just ever so crisp. But I do tend to get up quite close to them, and these are really massive TVs. Normally, the ones on show, they're like over 60, 70 inches. And when you have a TV that big and you're that close to it, yes, you can tell the difference. But if you took like the size, whatever size your telly is now, and imagine yourself sat as far away from it as you normally would be, and then up the resolution to 4K, it's more questionable whether or not you would really get the benefit.
Okay.
So I think that far more interesting than 4K are the other TV technologies that are coming in kind of on the same crest of the same wave, if you like.
Yeah.
So OLED is dead cool. OLED TVs look better than any TVs I've ever seen, and I cannot wait for them to be. As soon as I can afford one, I'm having it. That's it. They're amazing. And also quite interesting is bendy TVs. We saw some TVs at CES that aren't just bendy, but can be bendy or flat. So they can be flat, and then you press a button on the remote, and it goes.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we talked about that last week. Yeah, we like the idea that you can sit down to watch a movie or something, and you've got your flat TV, and you're like into battle mode, and it just goes. And you've got your popcorn and everything, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it's good to see that 4K is already. We've already got people trying to mix things up with price.
Yeah,
so
and in fact, starts a bit of a price war and makes everyone else sort of drop their 4K prices. Been brilliant. Then we can work out the problems of how the hell do we get 4K content on these TVs, which is the problem for the moment.
Cool. Okay.
So I will move on. And the Moto X, which is now old news in the US, but big news for us as it's finally going to go on sale in the UK and across Europe, which is wonderful.
This is a bit of a resurgence for Motorola, isn't it? Because they haven't really been a presence in the UK for quite some time, have they?
They have. It's just that we haven't really paid much attention to them. They've had like the new Motorola Razr, which is the slim phone with stuff, and it's been fine. And the Razr Max had a big battery.
Those phones are quite boring, though, aren't they?
They were very boring, and no one bought them. I've never seen one out and about.
They were the ones with the Kevlar back.
Yeah.
But don't put it over your heart and expect it to stop a bullet, because
we tested that and we lost an intern.
Yeah. Yep. In unrelated news, we have a vacancy for an intern in our bullet testing lab.
Why
just
do we
apply
get a ballistics lab anyway? We don't need that.
Do you know how expensive those foam dummies are?
Yes.
We have realised now to stop giving them their own email addresses. They just have ballistics intern email.
Yeah, intern at CNET. Anyway, so the Moto X, it's a 4.7-inch phone with 720p display with a dual-core processor.
Sure.
Now, that actually seems a bit less impressive than the Moto G that we already have, because that has a 720p display. But on its 4.3-inch display, that means that the pixels are packed a bit tighter, so it's a bit sharper. The Moto G also has a quad-core processor, so we don't really know exactly how these are going to compare side by side. But it does have, the Moto X does have the latest version of Android. It's 4.4.2 and some cool features. It's got a better camera. It's got the ability when you can just bark questions at it when it's in standby mode. This is all quite cool, and so it's going to be £380 SIM-free when it goes on sale on the 1st of Feb.
Okay, but that's still double the price of the Moto G, right?
That's double the price of the Moto G. But you also get 4G for that, and you get a 10-megapixel camera.
Oh, of course, the Moto G isn't 4G, is it?
Not
yes,
4G.
About that. But it does have, as of this week, it has...
The Moto G has KitKat.
Yay, exciting stuff.
4.4.2 KitKat, to be precise. The update has started, although I checked on my Moto G before we came in the podcast, and it wasn't on it yet.
They did say it was going to roll out through the week.
Yes.
So there you go. But they have kind of been promising it to us for a little while. So good news. I was going to say something about the Moto G. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the fact that it's the first non-Nexus, non-Google phone to have KitKat. So it beats all the Samsungs, right? As far as I'm aware.
Beats most other phones. Nearly all of them, in fact.
The HTC One's not getting it till like the end of this month or something.
Could be
got that date in mind.
Yes, that's end of this month. Yeah.
I don't think there's an official date on when the Samsungs are getting it and all the Xperias. So it's doing really well. And also we've just seen that the Moto G is getting a stock Android Google edition in the US only, joining the S4 Google edition and HTC One Google
By the way,
edition.
That sounds like you're saying
Googly edition.
Googly edition. Googly edition, which is a bit weird because the Moto G is already pretty much stock Android. It's one of the things that we liked about it was that they hadn't really done a lot to it. It was just it was very basic. So it's quite odd doing that, but it, we won't see that in the UK because we haven't seen any of the other ones yet. So.
No, that's a shame.
Give it a bit of time, maybe.
Yeah. The others would benefit more, the S4 and the HTC One, because they've got all Blink Feed and TouchWiz and all that kind of.
Yeah, I quite like Sense on the HTC One, but I love Google Edition S4.
Right.
Like strip out all the Samsung stuff and just put bang standard Android on there without having to go around rooting it and using launchers and all that nonsense.
Do you know what? I've come around a little bit to Samsung's TouchWiz software. TouchWiz is still the most hilarious name in the whole technology industry. TouchWiz.
It does sound a little bit like an 80s kind of TV show where people dressed up in costumes like Whizbit or
TouchWiz. Or like educational children's TV, like boop doop boop boop TouchWiz.
Actually, I think educational TV would say don't touch whiz.
Hello, TouchWiz. What are you doing today?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I'm struggling with my sums.
Okay, so that's what we've done today.
If anyone feels like animating the TouchWiz cartoon and giving us the rights to it,
absolutely, we would love to
we'll
see
give
that,
you some stickers or something in return.
Yes.
Any excitement for the Moto? Crucially, actually, I
good.
forgot to mention with the Moto X. So in the US, the Moto X is highly customizable. You can go on the Moto Maker website, it's called, and on there you can get different back colors, different color accents, different casings. You can get like a bamboo version.
Like
And so
sounds like buying a Dell laptop. They have all these customization options, don't they?
this is more about just the aesthetics. You're not buying different processors and different camera and stuff. You're just buying loads of different colours. But because there are so many variations,
unique, isn't it? Really,
absolutely. And apparently, you can make thousands of different colour combinations. But that isn't going to be on the one of the UK. They're not bringing that in the UK.
What?
It's only going to be black or white, and it doesn't matter which.
It's a good idea though. It's like a Build-A-Bear workshop for phones. Build-A-Blower workshop.
Yeah, you can put little, I don't know, sailor suit on it. I've only been in a Build-A-Bear once.
Little
and
sailor suit on your phone.
I was asked to leave.
Yeah. And then the bit right
because
at
you
the
touched
end.
with.
Yeah.
No, it's because you can record your own voice onto that when you hug a bear and you can make a voice.
Oh my
come
God,
out.
this is real.
I recorded my own voice onto one of those, and it was unsavoury and unsuitable, and
as long as it was a bear for you and not
it was one of my friends, and it was an in joke that we had, and so it was important that we had specifically that on it. And anyway, moving on.
And they wouldn't allow you to
no, we did it, and we bought the bear.
Right.
But they were not too happy. They said, can we not? Not important. I'm going to move on.
So they asked you to leave, but they let you buy the bear first. That's good.
Well, yeah, they asked me to leave. I said, well, I'm going to leave. We bought the bear.
Yeah.
It's like
this is what we were going
it's like when
to
you travel one stop on the train and they say, you've not got a ticket, you're going to have to get off the train. Okay, at the next stop. That's where I'm going. Not a problem. Anyway, there's some tips on how to break the law.
There's a
It's
window.
a real insight, yeah.
Andrew,
Can I please move on now?
No, you're
'Cause I'm
painting
feeling
a
like
picture
a
of
horrible
yourself.
person. No.
You're like, I'm not paying for the train. I'm going to go one stop into town and build a sweary bear.
You're an outlaw.
I am an outlaw.
What else is going on in the news?
So, apparently, the average phone in Britain,
Yep.
you will break it or lose it within 15 months of having it.
Wow.
Which is actually, in a way, kind of a long time, because I generally, you, Rich, you get about 15 minutes.
I'm bringing the average down.
You are bringing the average way, way down. But if you've got a contract that lasts 18 months, as so many of them do, or even 24 months in some cases, then this is quite bad news.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, so it means that if you're taking out a contract specifically so you can pay for a really expensive phone over the course of time, spread out the cost, then it gets broken or it gets dropped or it gets wet or it gets stolen or it gets lost or whatever, then you end up paying for this phone that you no longer get to enjoy.
So it was. This is a study done by the guys over at Protect Your Bubble, an insurance company. They studied nearly 1,200 people in the UK, and roughly a third of those phones will get broken as a result of dropping.
Yep.
And then
that
after
sounds
that,
about right.
after that, most people end up just having to use a cheap.
Exactly. Yeah.
Phone,
I mean,
some feature phone for a while.
I read a while ago. Actually, we covered this. I think it was late last year. There was a survey that said, it was a similar sort of thing that said potentially a quarter of iPhones have broken screens in the country. Yeah. So it's there's obviously dropping them is a real issue. I know whenever I had an iPhone, I always had a broken screen.
Well, this study talks about the average length that a phone lasts before being broken or lost.
Going to a watery grave.
Exactly. So I really do think there might be an element of some ne'er-do-wells keeping the average down here, because I know some people who have a drawer at home full of phones. There's just every phone they've ever owned. They never lost it.
And I know some people. To me though, because I review phones for a living, so I've got the drawer of phones.
I compare everyone to you, Andy, in every regard.
Which is why he will never find happiness with a woman.
Just no, Andy. And you've never been kicked out of a Build-A-Bear workshop for building a bad bear.
I liked her, but she made me pay for my ticket when I was only going one stop.
Yeah. So, but you talk to some people and they're like, "Oh, I lost my phone again." Ha ha ha! Like, how can you live like this? How?
Yeah.
So I think this may well be the work of just a handful of people who are ruining it for the rest of us, driving up our premiums.
As in most
honestly, can you believe it? If only it was like a saga insurance sort of thing, when if you have no claims bonus, then your insurance will just drop.
Drop like your phone.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, so do you? Are you stuck with a crappy phone that you've borrowed off of friends or family? Then let us know. Do you have phone insurance? Do you guys have phone insurance? Do you have phone insurance?
No, because I never use a phone for more than a week anyway.
And then just throw it aside.
Because I'm not allowed to. I have to use new phones to
Fling
test
it
them.
aside. Like
And he stuffs them in a Build-A-Bear and
I've stuffed them in a
creates a
shoebox
bear
in a
phone.
cupboard, actually, that's got googly eyes on, so it looks like the box is eating the phones.
like the telecoms Lothario that you are. What about you, Luke? Do you have phone insurance?
no, but again, I'm kind of in the privileged position where if my phone breaks, not too hard to get. More. I'm sitting right next to Andy. He has a shoebox full of phones.
Yeah.
But
Just sitting on a
actually,
pile of phones.
you know what? Even if I wasn't in that privileged position, I am dubious of how good the value is, because like when you factor in the excess and it's not usually that cheap. It's not like
That's true.
It's not like a quid a month, is it?
It's worth shopping
it's
around.
a lot of money.
I do have phone insurance, but it's part of my bank account. So it's one of the extras that comes to my bank account. So that's a possibility, and that's definitely been worth it.
Have you ever used it?
Yeah, I've claimed on it a few times. That's actually paid for
What
itself.
about all of the phones that you've lost?
The phones that I owned, I've not claimed for a little while,
okay.
but I do tend to. I have a bit of a habit of leaving. Phones abandon me on the bus is what happens. I wake up on the bus and my phone's already got off.
Those phones, they always want to get away.
It's true. It's true. And what is worth obviously pointing out is that log in with Find My iPhone Android Device Manager or the Windows Phone equivalent, or whatever your phone is. Make sure that you're logged into that, so that if your phone does take a walk, then you can track it down, which is always useful.
Of course, always password protect your phone.
Yes.
Because you lose your phone and it's completely unpassworded, you will get someone on a night bus who thinks it's hilarious to go into your Twitter and post a load of nonsense and get you banned.
Would be the least of my fears. Someone stole my unprotected phone.
Well,
that's the main reason. That's the main excuse that I have for most of the things I post on Twitter.
Burglar did it. Burglar got my phone. Burgle my tweets.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah. You photoshopped those pictures and then posted them to Twitter. That wasn't me. I swear.
But I've got a feeling he might do it again tonight. Here's another phone tip. Safety on a slightly different note. If you want to be extra, cautious and personal safety savvy, fill it with spikes and spider eggs. No, why not make your lock screen wallpaper an in case of emergency contact number? So in case you have an accident and someone can't unlock your phone,
that's an interesting idea.
That's pretty good. Or threats. This is a mob phone. Return it to this number.
A mobile
or
phone.
Else.
Mobile phone.
Oh, mobile
phone. You couldn't use that.
Cool. And don't forget to register your phone with Immobilise as well, which is the National Police Force register, so that if it does get found, if it's nicked, then they can return it to you, which is always useful. Cool. All right then.
The problem with the in case of emergency thing, though, is that if someone does find your phone, I suppose, then they can see at least a number. So you have to make it a safe number.
Right. Good point. Yeah.
Always have a safe word.
Time for our feature, I think.
I think it is. Yeah. Let's move on. So it's the future. Google has spent £1.9 billion. Google has got that nesting instinct. The big G this week announced it's forking out that money to buy Nest, which is a company that makes smart, connected digital thermostats and smoke alarms for your home. So Google has already taken over our virtual lives online. Are our actual real live homes next? Exciting stuff. So Google, so Nest, in case you haven't heard of this company, they're a company that makes these smoke alarms that are digitally connected to your phone. So if you're out of the house, your smoke alarm starts going off and you can see that there's a problem in your home.
Yeah. Oh, great, my home's burning down. I'm on holiday, can't do anything about it. But great that the rest of my holiday is being ruined.
Well, you could, for example, you could call a neighbour, or you could call a friend, or you could call the fire brigade, that kind of thing.
Okay.
The other thing that it does well is it has it's not just a smoke alarm, it has a carbon monoxide detector in it, all that kind of thing. And one thing that does it quite good is when it starts to go off. At first, it has a verbal warning. So at first, it says, I smell smoke or something. And so you can wave that off. So if you're making toast and you're just burning it, you don't have to go and grab the tea towel and be running around flapping the tea towel and smoke alarm while your toast is still
taking
burning.
the battery out and then forgetting to put it back in.
Exactly. Yeah. Because there's some ridiculous number of fires that are caused by, well, not caused by, but aren't prevented by the fact that smoke alarms, so many people's smoke alarms just don't have batteries in. So that's kind of what they're thinking behind this.
What do you do to say no, it's fine, it's just toast? Do you wave your hand?
You just wave your hand over the thing.
In the kind of gesture you might Like, make it, for example, your house is on fire and you were panicking.
But I never said it was perfect.
Oh, all right.
And they also make a thermostat, which also talks to your phone. And
The thermostat's cool.
The thermostat is pretty cool, yeah. So you can monitor your energy efficiency, which hopefully should allow you to reduce your bills and make your house greener and that kind of thing. You can and this is all sort of connected to this home automation thing of like being able to control your lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Am I right that you can also set up like a geofence? So when you sort of get within, say, 2 miles of your house, it will automatically sort of put your heating on and start warming your house up and all that kind of thing.
Turn the oven on turn on the microwave with your ready meal already sat in there.
Yeah, all these things. This is brilliant.
Have a robot arm reach from the fridge and be like, pasta today.
This is what
again.
Which is exactly what I want.
More microwave pasta for Luke.
Andy, haven't you had enough Jaffa cakes? No fridge, there's never enough Jaffa cakes.
I shouldn't have questioned you.
When you come home late from the oven, when you come home late from the pub, the oven's like, what time do you call this? Your dinner's in me.
I have disabled the hob. It is not safe.
I only say it because I love you.
There's a shepherd's pie. I've been sitting here, but I'm not warming it up.
These are the things that a smart home can do for you.
This is the vision of a wonderful vision
never
of the
cook
future.
for me.
Anyway. So Luke, you actually saw quite a few appliances like this over the last week, didn't you?
That was my privilege. So my favourite smart household thing was a bed.
Yes,
and that's not just because I was completely exhausted and just lying down felt like bliss, but it really was cool. It was a Sleep Number, which is a company that exists in the US already. It's kind of established, but in the UK they're not really here. But they make clever beds, and they've got this technology which
clever beds,
which means you can have like a double mattress for 2 people, and half of it can be like more inflated. It uses like inflation, like air. So like half of it can be really, really flouncy and soft, and the other half of it can be like properly sturdy, like rigid.
That's
like,
cool.
No
That's
give
impressive.
at all.
Yeah.
But
what's your preference?
Do you know? I'm not sure.
I'm all about fluffy, sink into beds, zero support. Don't care about my spine. Just want to be comfy.
I think I'd rather have the support personally.
Yeah, I like a slightly firmer bed, but not too firm.
All right.
Like a prison cot. So that's what I try and go for.
Like a stone floor.
Yeah, exactly.
With some marshmallows.
You've got flagstones on your mattress.
Exactly. My bed is just a pile of hay with a blanket over it.
Yeah. Andy sleeps on a big pile of phones. That's
like Smaug. Smaug the dragon is. If you lift up his shirt, his belly is encrusted with phones. Anyway, so this smart bed. So that's not the only cool thing it can do. It's the air system is packed with sensors that measure your sleep patterns. So we've got things like bracelets, and Withings makes like a lamp and like a sensor pad that goes under your mattress. We've already got technology that tells you how well you're sleeping.
Sure.
But this is built into the bed, so you don't have to think about it, which is the problem I have with all this stuff.
Right.
And in the morning, it looks at how well you slept or didn't sleep, whether you were moving around a lot or not. When you actually exit the bed, and it gives you a score that you have to then try and beat.
That says that you're going to have a terrible day today.
Yeah, basically.
You get out of bed and there's like a big steaming hot cup of coffee just sat there from your bed. Going,
you're welcome. And you can... What else can you do with this incredible bed?
So is the idea just actually to try and beat that score? Because everyone wants a better night's sleep. But you can't just say, I'm going to beat that score, I'm going to sleep much better tonight. And
I'm really pumped up to sleep much harder tonight.
Yeah, I'm really energised.
To be fair,
Red Bull.
I've been slightly misleading there, because they did say specifically to me there is no good or bad score. But, it's just supposed to be informative. But, obviously you want to beat the score because you want to sleep better. Who wants to sleep worse?
Okay, well, we talked about the bed a little bit last week. What other exciting appliances did you see while you were out there?
LG has quite a cool system. LG obviously already makes loads of white goods, fridges, washing machines, things like that. And lots of them are smart and can be controlled using apps. But for the first time ever, LG has built one system that controls all of them, which is pretty neat. So the idea is if you buy all LG kit in your house, then from like one smartphone app, you can control everything. And this is the best part, you can text instructions to your appliances. So you can be out
dance
dance for me. Open and close the door as fast as you can. So yeah, you can text like start in 20 minutes, stuff like that. Things that just kind of adding that sort of extra real language dimension to controlling your home.
Cool.
It all does sound pretty cool, but it does kind of remind me of it feels like a bit like a kind of 70s movie where there's a computer that controls the whole house and it goes mad and terrorizes Michael Douglas or something. I just kind of, it feels like that kind of thing.
Exits are sealed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the doors come down.
I have decided you are not fit to manage your own home.
Yeah, exactly.
Running of the home will be more efficient with me in control.
There was this great comic in the 70s called, it was a British comic called The 13th Floor, and it was about you know how a lot of skyscrapers don't have a 13th floor.
Oh, because it's unlucky, right?
Exactly. So there was this computer called Max that was in charge of the whole building, but it took its responsibilities to the tenants too seriously. So if anyone came around who threatened or the computer thought that anyone posed a threat to their tenants, it would kill them. What it would do is it would take them to the 13th floor. There was no 13th floor. It was like a holodeck kind of thing where it would show them their worst fear and kill them in an appropriate way.
Could it not just kill them? Why'd it have to show them the worst fear?
Because they died of fear. So they'd be found in the lift with a heart attack, and then the computer would be like, "Oh, I didn't see anything." And it was great. So like if a debt collector came around in one issue, then the debt collector was shown like a kind of a giant spider or something, and he died. It was brilliant.
Debt collectors fear spiders.
Exactly. That's true. So if you ever see one, then there you go. So yeah, that's all pretty exciting stuff. I mean, what do you think then about Google taking over the home? Do you see Google taking charge of our homes?
See Google taking charge of everything, because Google's also bought Boston Dynamics, makers of the terrifying robot dogs.
Speaking of spiders,
Speaking of spiders, and
so
I don't know what they're up to. They're buying all these weird companies and things, and I don't know why. What's their plan?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to put this together? It can control our homes to lock us out, and then make a bunch of robot dogs move in and film some hilarious sitcom about robot dogs living in our houses. I don't know.
That you can download from Google Play.
Yes.
And that's the end game.
Well, they do have a bunch of different. I mean, so Nest, which they've just bought, they actually backed it through Google Ventures, which is kind of a startup incubator kind of project that they do. And they've so the other things they've got out there. They've got a company called Fitstar, which does fitness apps, and Nextdoor, which is about social networking in a very local way. But then they also have like an organic coffee roastery that they've put money into as well, and that kind of thing.
Probably just for its own labs, for Google thing. Why buy coffee in for your cafe when you can just buy a coffee company?
But scarily, they also have backed 23andMe, which is the biotechnology firm it's trying to map out the human genome, or it offers you can go and have your genetic makeup tested to see if you're going to die.
This is going to end brilliantly.
I'm sure this isn't Google's terrifying end game, but it's possible that they just want Nest for the people who work there, because one of the guy who actually designed the Nest thermostat, which looks really nice and is incredibly easy to use compared to every thermostat in the world.
Yeah. You mean it doesn't have those little round circular little plasticky nibs that you have to put them in?
Push them out.
Exactly.
It's like using some arcane nautical navigation equipment or something like that.
Let me fetch my sextant. It's cold in here.
Exactly. Well, Jupiter's in the 5th, so I don't know.
So I want my heating to come on at 37 degrees north.
Past the pole line, twice round.
So
the
yeah,
horn.
so this guy Tony.
Okay, Mega Timer keeping at it insistently. Robot taking over already. That guy is called Tony Fadell, and he was a designer on the iPod. So it's possible that Google just wants to basically acquire one of the best product designers around.
And also a fistful of patents.
Exactly,
so many patents.
Yeah.
So many patents.
The precious patents.
I believe Nest has 40, and I think has 200 more, or even more on the way.
Is that just an estimate?
Nest it is. No, wait, that doesn't work. Forget I said that. Take it back. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that was a similar sort of thing that Google did with Motorola, didn't it? They were kind of behind on the whole mobile phone situation, and they bought Motorola, and then they were like, now we're in front. We'll see.
In front is up for debate.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Smart appliances are very exciting. Also, there was the slow cooker, and there's all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
not enough smart coffee machines. That's what I want to say. There's not enough. The one thing that we need. So you want coffee first thing in the morning.
Is this really the one thing that we need?
Yes, this is what I want so badly.
Think very carefully about what the word need means.
Yes, need. Listen. So you've got the Nespresso machines where you use the pods. What you need is an espresso machine, coffee, alarm clock, like the Teamay, the tea made from the 70s where
Yeah.
you set your alarm and it'll make a cup of tea for when you wake up. It'll just make you an espresso because it's already got pods. You put water in it, and that's obvious, and you can have a delicious espresso
Fired into
as
your
soon
face.
as you wake up.
Boosh,
It'll
boiling hot.
be
Yeah.
there.
And the strength could be controlled by how well your bed says you slept.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
He's had a late one. Better make it a double.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic.
It's
Someone
a
get on
baraka.
this now.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the end point, isn't it? With smart home appliances and everything, it's connecting everything up so that you get all this unconnected information, like where you are, what you're doing, what you're doing, and all the information is collected through your phone on the internet and shared around the appliances that can make use of it.
Last week, did you guys talk about the Mother?
We didn't actually. No.
Can I briefly talk about that?
Yeah, tell us about that. Yeah, sure.
So this is the creepiest yet coolest device. It's worth Googling it. It's called the Mother, and it's made by a company called Sense, S-E-N-S-E.
Okay.
And what it is,
Thanks
it's
for
like
spelling out the word sense there.
well, it might be like with the C or the Z.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, it's like a creepy, glowing porcelain doll with a face on it.
Okay.
And
I'm already excited. Yeah.
and it's called Mother, and Mother knows what's happening in your house. And the way Mother knows is Mother communicates with all these little plastic pebbles called cookies, and they have sensors in them, like temperature sensors and motion sensors. So if you put a cookie on the fridge door, then Mother would know, and you'll be able to see on an iPad kind of interface. Mother collects that information, beams it to your online stuff. So you'll be able to see how many times a day you're opening the fridge door. If you put it on your coffee cup, you could see how often you're lifting or using a particular cup. So, you could put it on all your mugs and see which one is the favourite in the house.
And then that information gets collected up so that Mother knows how long to lock you in the hole in the evening.
Yeah, exactly. It struck me as this kind of thing where I was a bit like, ugh. But then the more I thought about it, the more I'd be like, actually, if I had maybe like a Mother unit and loads of these cookies, I could think of some fun things to do with it. Like see which of my windows is the most often used or something like that. I think it's cool.
The possibilities are endless and fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mother, is that you? Yeah, that sounds absolutely terrifying, but also kind of cool. I think I'd probably give it a different name, but there you go. Maybe if you could name it yourself, you call it like Jarvis or something. Jeeves. It could be your butler. Rather
Mother
than your
Jarvis.
The Watcher.
Yeah,
that's less creepy.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, tell us what you think, viewers and listeners and readers. Do you like the idea of Google having all that kind of information about your home or your activities, because they know everything about you online, and now they could know everything about you when you're not online?
They know when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake.
Exactly. They
know when you've been drinking coffee. So set your microwave, for goodness sake.
Exactly. That's it. That's smart appliances right there. So tell us what you think, and what particular appliances you think would benefit from being dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Cool. On that note, let's hear what you guys have been saying in this week's feedback.
Checking into places. Some excellent feedback this week, starting with Simon Smith, who asks, will there be another Nexus 10? If so, who is going to make it? So last year we didn't get another Nexus 10.
But I think actually it might be very close, because it's still on sale in Google Play in the UK, but stock of the Nexus 10 has run out in the Google Play Store in the US. And it doesn't look like they're going to replace it. We haven't had any official word on this, but something to keep an eye on.
Samsung makes the Nexus 10. Who would you think Samsung would be drafted in to make another one?
Probably.
Well, they're not going to get Motorola to make a tablet, are they? Let's face
it. We remember the Zoom.
He went there.
Absolute blinder of a question from our producer, Mark Ganley, who you will never see, but is, pulling the strings behind this podcast, says, if a kingdom is the dominion of kings, Christendom is the dominion of the Christians, is wisdom the dominion of the wizards?
I think it is, yeah.
Which is a question that makes less sense the more you think about it, because it sounds quite profound to start with. I know lots of wise wizards. Gandalf, that's one.
Yep.
What's another
Merlin.
wizard? Merlin, of course. Merlin.
The original. And
Harry
still the
Potter,
best.
obviously a wizard.
Yep.
And arguably a wise one. So that's three. That's a trend.
Oh, I don't know. If he was so wise, he probably would have used time travel to, and invisibility to actually make sure that none of his friends died and no bad things ever happened to anybody. But
if he could,
I'm just
I think he should have considered calling the police. It's never covered, like what a Muggle mobile response team would have done to Voldemort. He's attacking a school. It's an open shut case. Anyway,
ARU just stormed.
yeah, attack dogs taking down Voldemort. Maybe it could happen. Michael Bowker says, the PlayStation Store on PS3, PS4 and Vita doesn't allow users to change the region associated with their account, which can be useful for people who move abroad. Instead, when asked, Sony's only suggestion for this is for users to make a new account, which resets their trophies.
That's a bit poor.
You don't want your trophies reset. Considering the fact that the PS4 requires PlayStation Plus for users to play multiplayer, yeah, this isn't very good. Oh, it also points out that Microsoft allows users to change their region every 90 days or so. So if you move, you can move every 90 days, which probably there aren't many people moving more than 90 days, changing their region. Yeah, they should sort that out.
Yeah.
That sucks that you're tied down to the country you happen to have been in when you...
It's true. What possible rationale is there for that? I mean, presumably maybe it's a rights thing or whatever. But seriously, it's global. Megatime says that's the end. Okay, let's quickly.
All right, goes power through. Like Odin says, when will the Asus Zenfone 6 and Sony Xperia T2 Ultra be coming to the UK, and what will be the price point? We don't know prices or release dates for either of those phones yet. I believe. Not
we
in
do
the
know
UK
that
anyway.
the Xperia T2 Ultra is definitely coming here. I don't know about the Zenfone 6.
Oh yeah, so that's definitely the Sony one's definitely coming to the UK. The Asus Zenfone 6, we can but hope. But the Asus Zenfone 6 is massive, but specs-wise, it's kind of modest. So I would expect both the phones to be reasonably cheap. They're very mid-range.
The T2's designed as a mid-range,
a
mid-range big phone, so probably the 350 mark.
300, 350, maybe 250, maybe.
Cool. Fingers crossed. We'll keep you posted on that one anyway.
Yeah, Katie Collins, ex of this parish, says, will CNET fans like myself be able to hang out with members of the team if we are out at Mobile World Congress next month?
No.
Well, Katie, obviously not unless it's by appointment, and there are no appointments.
We're too busy bringing you all the first news, reviews, videos, photos, hands-on first impressions.
An opportune time to mention Mobile World Congress and our incredible coverage that is mere weeks away.
It is.
It's at the end of February.
Yep.
This is right. And it's the show in Barcelona where all the phones are at. All the new phones and tablets for the year. So we'll be looking out for major releases from every company, except for Apple, who obviously won't be there because they're too good for it.
And maybe not Google.
But well, we don't know.
Everyone else, we might see the Android Nokia phone. We might see the HTC
we
One.
might see the Android Nokia phone.
We might see the Samsung Galaxy S5 before MWC.
Could happen. We might see MWC. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Exciting stuff. So yeah, in a few weeks, look out for that.
I think I can make an appointment to see Katie at MWC.
Good.
Have your people speak to our people.
Yeah.
All right then. And so yes.
Kunwa Sood says, any idea how the Windows 9 user interface might look?
Much the same, I would imagine. So that's rumoured for, I believe, next April?
I think it'd be much the same as Windows 7.
Do you think it's going to keep rolling back a bit?
I think it might step back.
Okay. Well, by that stage, Windows 8, Windows 9, Windows Phone 9, maybe they'll be mushed up a bit more and there'll be less of a kind of, maybe that'll be the end of Windows 8 RT. Maybe we'll see more of a crossover.
Maybe there won't be a Windows 9.
Maybe.
Ooh. Mark Foster says, what would happen if you started Siri on 2 iPhones and left them to it?
That's a good question. Artificial intelligence.
Intelligence. I've tried this out. Not sure we have time to demonstrate it now.
Go on, why not?
Okay, all right. Well, first then, I need Andy. You need to send me a text.
Send you a text.
Actually, you know what? Let's just do it.
It only took a moment.
Okay, so we've got, for the benefit of listeners, we've got 2 iPhones here.
Text Luke Westaway. Hi, Siri.
So Andy's sending a text. It's very exciting.
In the meantime, I'm just going to say...
Text Luke Westaway. Hi, Siri.
Hello, Siri. Say hello. Get the other iPhone up.
Hello.
Oh, you can feel the sexual tension crackling between the whole...
So there you go. So basically what happens is
there.
they quickly get out of sync, and because the problem is that they don't automatically listen after they've said something a lot of the time. So fix it out. Sort it out, Apple.
That's typical, and so many people just don't listen after they said something.
Just don't listen.
Anyway.
Finally, Mike Bridges says, if the Earth isn't flat, how does a spirit level work?
The Earth isn't flat?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think anyone really knows how spirit level works, so,
It is actually magic, yeah. There is one other question as well, just quickly. Ben Stevens asked whether EE has launched in York, 4G EE has launched in York. It is on the coverage checker. We've contacted EE to find out what the situation is, and they're going to get back to us. But maybe we'll come back to that next week.
You missed my question off.
All right. What was your question?
I posted one last, but no, we'll have to.
I just didn't see it.
Save it for another day.
Say? Can the podcast team get any more handsome? No, I think is the simple answer to that
The
one.
podcast team cannot get any more handsome. What a question, Andy.
What a question.
Because there's
from
simply
that
no
man.
hope for them. There's nothing that can be done for us at all.
Can they get any more handsome? Well, we've spoken to doctors, and they've told us categorically there's nothing
Yeah,
to
there's no point in getting our hopes up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. They want to manage our expectations.
Well, thank you very much. Great feedback, folks. Keep that coming at
Facebook.com/CNET UK official, or tweet us at CNET UK, or email us at podcast@cnet.co.uk.
Absolutely. Or get your washing machines text us or something. If you want all the latest news, reviews and videos on your Apple or Android tablet or phone, then just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play and search for CNET Global to get the app. Right, cool. Videos.
That's right. You need to check out the latest episode of Adventures in Tech, in which myself and producer Mark, who you will never see, talk about the Dreamcast, the single greatest gaming console ever made, arguably, and it failed spectacularly. It's an incredibly interesting story because it was it's unbelievably innovative, ahead of its time device, and it failed so spectacularly that it took Sega out of the console race completely.
Wow.
Killed its chances.
Brought down
stoned it.
gaming.
Exactly. So
behemoth.
get nostalgic, find out what happened, and just generally have a good time. Search.
But be safe.
Exactly. Be very safe. So search Adventures in Tech Dreamcast in Google. I imagine you'll find it somewhere.
Yeah. So if you like that, leave us a comment or a thumbs up on YouTube, and remember to tweet it or Facebook it or share it on Google Plus if anyone's going to watch it on Google Plus. Also, if you go to ces.cnet.com, you will see 11 must-see videos from CES 2014. So if you're interested in any of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last week, you'll see the kind of highlights there. All right,
Including
finally,
a blooper reel.
Oh yeah, which is great. If you want to see how much maintenance goes into keeping Luke's hair in place, then that's the video to watch. Cool. All right then. What is Automatone reviewing this week?
This week, Automatone is taking a look at the e-ink Yota phone.
Damning stuff. Erudite and articulate as always, but pretty damning. I don't think that would get you thrown out of Build-A-Bear if you start saying that kind of thing. All right then. Thank you, Automatone. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks,
Luke. Thank you to Mark, who you'll never see. Right, we're off to find out why our washing machine hasn't texted us back yet. Bye.